Hey, hey, how are you? So let's see. It's I don't know, what is it? It's 6:26 on a Monday evening, and it's John, and I've just wanted to say hey to you and let you know that every day I'm going to do this every day now, moving forward. School is out for the semester, so if you don't know, I'm telling you now. I'm working on my PhD. I just finished my comprehensive project, which was a huge undertaking. I'm glad it's done. So now it's simply doing my dissertation, which won't be simple, mind you, but it's just the last step on my road to PhD. What I wanted to talk to you tonight is about hoarding. Now, I have to confess, I am a hoarder, but what I hoard now is different than what I used to hoard. And honestly, what got me thinking about hoarding is the show Hoarders. And so what I hoard now, or what I choose to hoard now, are thinking positively, being grateful, hoarding, taking easy actions to get me where I want to go. Those are all things that I'm hoarding. Because hoarding the other stuff, like self-deprecating talk, hoarding bad feelings about people, hoarding gossip, hoarding any past programming that might have been well mentioned or not well mentioned, but well intended in the past that people were trying to protect me. All of that stuff that no longer serves me, I'm getting rid of. And so I'm cleaning house. And so when you watch the show, I don't know if you've seen it, I think it's on TLC, called Hoarders. There was this one episode where this woman was actually defecating. She was defecating and urinating in her living room. And she would put it in cups. And I know it's during the dinner hour, so what can I tell you? I'm a nurse, so we talk about these things all the time. If you want to talk about something gross, find a nurse, and it'll probably inadvertently happen during mealtime because, hey, that's what we talk about. So anyway, this woman, she was urinating and defecating in these cups, and then, the cups would spill. So in her living space, she actually built a foundation of shit. And she lived in this foundation of shit with all this other garbage that was strewn about her. And she was inundated with this trash. Like, she couldn't move anywhere. She had to walk over these mountains of trash and shit that she, I think in her mind, she was doing what was right. She was programmed that way. She felt that this was how she had to live, how she wanted to live, how she chose to live. And I don't know that she saw any way out. And so what I'm here to tell you is that if you find yourself living in a space that's full of shit, self-deprecating thought, feelings of inadequacy, feeling that you're not enough, making up excuse after excuse after excuse to enable you to not take action, all of those things that kind of keep you bogged down in this environment that's totally shitty for you. I'm here to tell you, you can get out of that. And you can get out of it with just the intention of leaving it and taking action. And it might sound daunting, but honestly, the more you overthink this, if you choose to overthink this, the more excuses you'll find, you'll rationalize to keep you where you're at. And so if you feel like you're living in shit and you want to get out of it, I'm going to give you some tips to help get that shovel, get that excavator, clean up that living space, and get you moving forward. And it all starts with your mindset. And certain things about your mindset you've got control over. And I want to share with you 3 tips that I think will help clean up the space and get you ready for 2021. Actually, get you ready for now, so you'd be better prepped for 2021. The first thing is to acknowledge and be grateful for what you have. Because when you become grateful for what you have in the present moment, and you can list it, and you can articulate it and write it down or talk about it, the more space you create for more things to be grateful for. Now, I know you've heard this before, but maybe you need to hear it again. So, one exercise I would invite you to do is when you get up in the morning and before you go to bed at night, write down at least 10 things that you're grateful for. Now, these don't have to be super duper monumental, colossal things. They are everything you experience in your life. For example, the fact that you have a pillow to sleep on, the fact that you've got sheets, the fact that you've got a bed, the fact that you've got a house, the fact that you can turn on water, the fact that you have indoor plumbing, all of those things, write them down. People, relationships, a smile, a favorite song, all of those things are things to be grateful for. And when you create lists in the morning and night and you do it over time, and here's a key tip, things that you're really grateful for, if something really strikes you as something special, I want you to write it down on a Post-it note, fold it up, and stick it in a jar and make it a big jar. So like if you've got something like a huge mason jar or even a box, say you've got an Amazon box from a gift that's coming in or gifts that you've brought in 2020, use that box, put these Post-it notes in of gratitude, and then what I want you to do on New Year's Eve next year is give yourself a couple hours and go through that box and have like this gratitude ceremony, have some sparkling cider or a glass of wine or whatever, and go through things you're grateful for. Because when you acknowledge things that you're grateful for, you make more room for things to be grateful for to come into your life. That's the first thing. Second thing is, if you're looking at changing habits, every year people are like, I want to be healthy, I want to eat healthy, I want to lose weight, I want to exercise, and then it never manifests. Well, part of it is that when you're not really consciously living and you're not consciously aware of what you're doing and where your time is going, it's easier not to follow through. So when you want to create a new habit, first write down your old habits and track them for 3 or 4 days. Things that you do. What do you do when you go up? What do you do when you go home? What do you do when you go to work? So that you have an idea of all of the activities you're doing. And then when you want to create that new habit, associate it with something you like. This is like key. If you can associate it with, say, for example, I like to have a cup of tea in the evening. And maybe, I'm trying to think of something. Just for example, say, working on my business, which I like to do, but say working on my business was something, was a new habit I wanted to form, but I was resistant to do it. If I say to myself, well, hey, work on the business for 10 minutes and I can have a cup of tea, it helps instill the new habit. And the more you do this, the more kind of like activity and the more progress you make doing that new habit, the more comfortable it will be. The other key trigger, like this is like a top tip, is change your language about doing things. Instead of saying, I have to, this is key. Like if you leave here with one thing tonight, this is what I want you to leave here with, is this. Instead of saying you have to do something, be grateful you can do something. So say to yourself, I'm so happy and grateful I can do, and then fill in the blank. But don't say you have to or you must. When you change the language that you're happy and grateful, again, you elicit those emotions, you trigger those chemicals, you're going to have so much more energy bringing to the activity than you normally would, and that's going to help you because energy is everything. Okay. The last thing I'm going to suggest to help reset the mindset is track down all of the stinking thinking that you do. Write down any negative thoughts that you have and be mindful of it. So when you catch yourself in a negative thought, write it down. Because the more conscious you become of the thoughts that you're thinking, and I think there was some research that I read where human beings have over 60,000 thoughts a day. When you become aware of a thought that doesn't serve you, write it down. And then over time, you'll become kind of like this detective. And when the negative thoughts come into your head, you can just say stop. And every time you say stop and you redirect your thoughts to something that you want, you're going to change that pattern over time. So those are three things that I think will help reset your mindset as we're heading into 21 and finishing out 2020. Again, don't be a hoarder, or if you're going to hoard things that are going to serve you. And always make the easy choice. You're always going to be either do something that's going to get you where you want to go, or do something that's going to keep you where you are. And the more you take the easy choice or make the easy choice in the moment, and you consistently do it over time, you are going to get where you want to go. Sometimes the biggest things, the most monumental things to accomplish can be done by taking the smallest action. There's actually a Pareto principle, which says that when you see results in your life, 80% of the consequences that you see in your life are due to 20% of the activity that you do. So think about it. If you bumped up your daily activity, making those simple, easy choices, the effects that you're going to have to get you where you want to go are going to be better. So as always, be kind, be authentic, and be yourself. And I will talk to you tomorrow.